time I got to school, I got beat up immediately.
I'll call it modern martial art to traditional martial arts. Why did you do that? Today we have with us Josef Levites. Josef comes from a boxing family, started in Soviet-style boxing in 1981, moved to the USA in 1991, switched to Muay Thai, trained, competed and taught till 2003. From 2004 till 2013, studied various styles of Chinese and Vietnamese martial arts. In 2013, he met his Shifu in praying mantis style, Kung Fu and Qing Dynasty athletics. In 2022, he moved to Israel, founded the Shuai Jiao Association of Israel. Shuai Jiao team has become an associated member of the European Shuai Jiao Federation and has been invited to World Shuai Jiao tournaments. In Baoding, China, currently resides in Netanya, teaches seminars in various cities across Israel. Hi Josef, I'm happy to have you here with me today.
It's an honor, thank you.
And I will question you. I hope we'll do a very, very good podcast for the viewers. Josef, what was your earliest experience with martial arts and what was it like?
Well, like you said, I come from a boxing family, so my father was a boxer, my grandfather was a boxer, so it was in boxing. It was Soviet-style boxing. It was a good experience. I started out early, and it was like a very gradual, structured process where they, build up your physical attributes, your athleticism, your technique over time, builds your confidence, and so on and so forth. So
did your parents push you? Did you feel like pushed by your parents?
No, I wasn't pushed at all. It was like a natural thing. It's like everybody did, and that's what I wanted to do. So that's where I started out. It was like a thing to do. Well, also, like, it became to me fairly early that it was necessary because,
environment.
First time I got to school, I got beat up immediately, and I never experienced any physical violence before that. I was very surprised, and and that kind of made me want to do it, more seriously.
I can relate to that. What do you think about you're already just the next question is how did your family or your environment influenced you? But you also already answered
that.
But
the environment, you needed to let's wait for the helicopter.
Israel.
I would say, like growing up in the Soviet Union, it was very necessary. It was just like, first of all, everybody did something, like some sort of sport, and a lot of times, like, boys would do some kind of combat sports, sambo, wrestling, boxing, judo. So it was a very natural thing to do.
Okay. So if you had one thing that you would like to pass to the next generation, okay, that you learned in your own martial art practice, what would it be? Something like, I don't know, let's say grit, maybe going after your goals. What do you think it would be?
I don't know. I would say...
let's say it's your child.
Yeah.
What would you like him to learn from what you learned in martial arts?
First of all, I think to do martial arts, you need to stay healthy.
Okay.
So health, athleticism, and to have structure to if you're doing martial arts, there has to be some kind of a structure to it. Avoid injuries.
Okay, so
kind of thing.
If I have to sum it up, it's health, structural studies, structural learning. How would you define it?
Yeah.
So health, structural studies, and that's it?
Persistency, I guess.
Persistency. Okay, I was looking for that word.
Yeah.
Persistency. That sounds good. Okay, you actually did something special. Like in our days, a lot of people start with traditional martial arts and go to modern martial arts. because a lot of people say that, I don't want to be rude, but some people say, look, I come from traditional martial arts. Some people say that traditional martial art, it's old, it's bullshit, it has too many unnecessary things for the modern world, but you actually transitioned from more, I'll call it modern martial art to traditional martial arts. Why did you do that? What did you learn on your way?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I transitioned.
Okay.
I would say I added martial arts to what I already had.
Okay.
And the reason that happened is it's two things. It's two parts. First of all, since everybody in my family did boxing, and they kind of just thought of boxing is the only way to do things, to handle, physical altercations. And then all of a sudden, like at that time, in Soviet Union, all these like Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese martial arts started, popping up all over the place. And it was a bit of a protest on my part against my upbringing. Because my father's opinion of karate and stuff like that was very, very low. Let's put it this way. And he was just saying basically it's bullshit, right? So I was like, he's saying it's bullshit, I need to try it, right? So
Youth rebellion, right?
Yeah. I wanted to try things that, he would say that they weren't great. I would say parts of the stuff that he was saying were true. Not because of the way martial arts are, but the way the people train martial arts. He would even actually say that himself. He would be like, yeah, they might work if people trained properly. And he was kind of right.
Yeah.
So my approach was like, I'm going to go and train it, and see for myself. And I went, and I immediately found some very useful things. It's like kicking, first of all.
Yeah.
I like kicking. I had apparently I had good, flexibility. So I immediately liked kicking and stuff like that. And I wasn't too impressed at the moment when I was learning it. Like I started out with some kind of karate, parallel to my boxing stuff. And like the hand stuff, I wasn't impressed with. I was like, oh no, like my hands are better. But the kicking was good. Some of the footwork was good. Some of the basic like foot sweeps and stuff like that. So I was like, oh no, I can add that to what I know. So that was kind of the way. And then also, of course, the movies. I started seeing movies. Like the first movie that really impressed me was, of course, like there was a bit of a Bruce Lee movie on the TV. I don't remember which one, but I was just impressed with the physique that he had, like that Bruce Lee had. I was like, wow, it's amazing athleticism. I've never seen anything like that. And then of course the next one was a movie called the Martial Arts of Shaolin, or Shaolin. It was just called Shaolin, with Li Lanzia, who we know as Jet Li, right? That was his first role in the movies, and he had a major role. And I immediately saw something that was like very different, very interesting, and I was like wondering, does it work? Like I need to find out. And the style that was the dominant style in the movie was a praying mantis style. Yeah. Represented by Wan Yu Hai, I think, and this guy was a real praying mantis specialist. What he did in the movie wasn't really representative of what it really looks like, but still it was very impressive. Yeah. So I was like, immediately I was very interested, and immediately like I thought, oh, praying mantis sounds interesting. So.
Yeah, I can relate to what you said. Like. I remember I saw Bloodsport and I was like, wow, so many martial arts. And also I started with Krav Maga, and I never actually left Krav Maga. I still visit a teacher I know. I still visit him once every time I can. And if we do martial arts for life, we never really live the previous martial art. We just incorporate it in the studies we do now. Yeah,
that the attributes are still there. Yeah. I mean, like I got from boxing, I got like decent reaction time, like footwork. I can take a punch. That's all due to boxing.
boxing.
You know, stuff like that. So I understand how to transfer weight from, you know, one leg to the other. You know, things like that. That stays with you. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what type of martial art you do.
Exactly. Yes, I from Krav Maga, one of the things I took is like, it's okay whatever martial arts you learn, but what's out there in the street. So you have to be prepared to that. And it's different between countries and places. Like if you go to the US, there's so many wrestlers there. So if you have no wrestling, there's so many people there who train, like they train in school wrestling, so you have to have some kind of wrestling background to deal with them. Like in Israel, there's a lot of stabs like this. You have to be prepared
Stabbing
to
specialists.
Yeah.
They study start stabbing in school.
Yeah. So you have to learn the things that you have. So that's what I got from Krav Maga.
Collegial stabbing degree.
And I speak, they call it collegial. Okay. Okay. Okay, me as a karate teacher, like when you taught me Shuai Jiao, yeah, and the things you taught me, I can immediately relate to that, and I can think about my katas and my application, and I myself can see the benefits. What do you think are the benefits of learning Shuai Jiao or Boch or Chinese wrestling or Mongolian wrestling to other traditional martial arts? What are the benefits?
Yeah, well, it's first of all, it's the same benefits that any wrestling will have, which is it's you know, the ultimate sport that teaches you leverage, balance, control, gives you better stamina, you know, and things like that. It just makes you overall stronger, more athletic, you know, within the context of grappling with another person, right? With resistance, right? So that's just basic things that any wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo, or Greco-Roman will do, right? Shuai Jiao specifically for me was a key to understanding my kung fu better.
Okay.
Like it opened up things in my kung fu that I either didn't know were there or helped me apply them better.
Okay.
I think that in my experience, like learning it and teaching it, that's what it does too. Like it's great for martial artists that already have some experience doing martial arts, because it just opens up, you know, all kinds of possibilities within their art that are there. They were just like for whatever reason locked away, or forgotten, misinterpreted. It's all there, obviously, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. I saw that with you. I can see that.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's another question that goes just right with what you said now. It's like you did a lot of martial arts, okay, and you had a lot of years doing them, and so you told us what the benefits of wrestling could be. Could you elaborate more, like a small advantage or something principle you got from boxing, Muay Thai, praying mantis, whichever martial art, something special you got from each and every martial art you learned?
Well, besides things that are inherent in every martial arts, which is basically they make you tougher, they make you more disciplined, and so on and so forth. If we're talking specifics, I would say if you're talking boxing, then it's the specific boxing IQ, because it's like a fencing, mix of fencing with chess, basically, like that. It's a game. So you learn to think in several steps ahead, sort of like that.
You have a prediction of what he's going to do and how you're going to answer it.
Yeah, reaction.
And you even
and what his reaction to this and how you're going to react to that. That's one thing. And as far as just physical attributes, I think the footwork of especially like Soviet style boxing that I did is superb. I think it's amazing footwork for any martial artist. Things like that. The other attributes I wouldn't say are that specific. Like because you will learn how to punch well in a lot of martial arts. You'll learn how to take a punch if you just do sparring in any martial art. But the footwork that boxing has is
It's special.
I think it's one of the best at least. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's for boxing. I would say for like the praying mantis style that I do, it's very different kind of thinking because the boxing is kind of like, at least the one I learned, is like in and out kind of thing. Praying mantis is constant pressure. It's relentless pressure, and it's the linking of the techniques, how they link, how they build on one on top of the other.
Interesting.
And I would say it's the principle. There's a principle that is in all praying mantis styles. There's a bunch of them, which is the hand doesn't return empty. And I think it's like one of the most unique things about it. Like whatever you throw out there, it doesn't, like in boxing, it goes back. Like your hand goes back immediately to defend yourself, right?
Yeah.
In praying mantis, it's the opposite. You step in and you crush somebody's structure, and there's a follow-up to a follow-up to a follow-up, and it's like you grab onto a person,
Yeah.
and you never let go.
Yeah, you know what I see from what you're saying. Like, I had an argument with a friend or a teacher of martial arts, and I told him, listen, I do karate. Like, I would say 90% of my mission is to be healthy through doing karate. And what I heard from you right now, which is great, is like a lot of fighting abilities, fighting attributes, fighting pluses of all the other martial arts, which is great. But I want to hear from you more. Like, what do you think about praying mantis aspects of developing health?
Okay. There's two parts to that.
Okay.
First of all, martial arts are bad for your health. Okay.
Okay.
We know that. That's martial arts.
That's what you think. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So in general, I would say it's what happens is this: the health benefits that it makes you mentally very, very resilient.
Okay.
So it's not that you don't get sick. You do. You just, I guess you get over it easier than other people. It makes you stronger, so you repel, certain viruses better.
Okay.
Things like that. They aren't. I don't think they were ever the purpose of martial arts, but they are the side effect if you practice them seriously.
Okay. That's your perception. I have a bit different perception, but it's your interview. It's your interview, not mine. Okay.
What is it?
My perception? I think like the warm-up, like we do a karate warm-up, it's like very, very healthy. And I think as we look at traditional martial arts, it has to be the cycle of life. Like when you're young, I'll say 15 to 25, you're a fighter. 25 to 35, you're still a fighter, but you have to keep yourself like in a total different way. 35 to 45, take it easier. 45 to 50, it's like every 10 years, you should take it easier. I'd say most people prime is 15 to 25. Some people are really talented. Their prime is till 30. Some people are extremely, I don't know. Sometimes they get like they get their puberty close to 20, so they can go to 35 sometimes healthy. But most people after 30, they shouldn't think as fighters. They shouldn't think like, I'm going to show this 20 years old how I'm going to punch him in the head. You might be able to do that, but it's going to drop you on your back, and it's going to hurt, and. You should play more with martial arts. It should be more playful the older you get. And younger people should have more peaks. I'm not talking about pros, it's a total different life. I'm talking about amateurs. They can have their peaks every few months, like a higher peak. But most of the time, they train to be healthy. Fighters don't train to be healthy. Like if you go to the army, I don't think training is healthy. If you go to rings, trainings are not healthy. But amateurs should be... they should enjoy the martial art, understand they're not like Muhammad Ali or I don't know, other Muay Thai fighters or wrestlers, they're amateurs, but they came to enjoy and to learn how to defend it. That's my perception.
No, here's the thing. Let's talk about it a little
Okay.
bit. We got time, right?
Yeah.
So,
you know what? Okay.
yeah, I would say this. I actually agree within the context of where we are right now,
Yeah.
where we expect to live up to 70, 80 years old,
Healthy.
and maybe older. No, just in general, just live.
Yeah. Okay. No, I expect to live till 80 healthy.
Yeah.
That's what I
but
want.
in general, I mean,
Yeah.
like even if you don't do anything, in just you
Yeah.
expect it in
Yeah.
our modern society to live that long.
Yeah.
What you say is true within that context.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, if we're looking at the lives of martial artists throughout history, until the antibiotics and modern day medicine, we see a very, very short lifespan because of warfare, all kinds of outbreaks of diseases and stuff like that, right? So the life expectancy of a warrior was actually very, very short. So I'd say it's more of a modern perspective on things, but it turns out that it does work that way, the way you describe it. Like right now, that's what actually happened, like to Tai Chi, for example, right? Tai Chi wasn't done slow, wasn't done for health. It was a martial art like any other martial art, right? But then, as the life expectancy all of a sudden doubled, tripled, and quadrupled, it became like a great tool for if you just do it slow, if you don't do it like for necessarily hard contact, and you connect the breathing to it and stuff like that, and it does prolong your life. Apparently, it brings down the blood pressure, things like that. Keeps you mobile, more healthy. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
In that context, for sure. Yeah. I'm just like in my mind, I'm always preoccupied with historical background of things.
Of course. I'll say just one thing I learned that Sensei Higuana said. He said, like, let's say you live from 0 to 100. And, when you're very young, you do like 1 technical kata and 9 like katas like you're fighting. And the older you get, till you get to 100, you do 1 kata like a fighter and 9 kata very technical and slow. That's what he said. That's what I was told he said. Okay. You're also a talented musician, okay? And you're talented in martial arts. And how do you combine the two? How do you see things that interlace or have connection between the two arts you're doing?
Well, the connection is the very obvious one. They both take a lot of time. You need you need a structured practice. You need to have a system, stuff like that. There are more similarities like between doing taolus and, for example, playing pre-learned pieces of music as opposed to improvisation, for example. So other than that, there's no real connection there, except that maybe like esoteric things like understanding rhythm makes you a better fighter. You need to be a bit of a dancer to have a to successfully spar, things like that.
I have to improve my music.
It helps. I think it helps, but I don't necessarily see it as like that one doesn't necessarily help the other. It's just two things that I was like passionate about, and I happen to have been able to make a living doing both. It just happened to be so. Like I never planned it because I come from non-musical family, and although everybody did boxing, nobody expected me to be a boxer or something like that, or teach martial arts. Actually, quite the opposite. Like they wanted me to be a artist because I come from on my mother's side. I come from an artistic family. They all painters, architects, illustrators, animation people, things like that. So I went to art school actually, and that was my initial plan to be a painter or something like that, or an illustrator.
Interesting.
I still draw.
Yeah, sorry, drawings.
Yeah.
I have like two more questions about the subjects of martial arts. I would like to. Why do you think China became such a world influencer in martial arts? Like karate was heavily influenced by kung fu, and I guess other countries. You know better than me the history. Why did China become such a center of martial arts?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's due to the fact that it was a powerhouse throughout its history, culturally, economically, and geographically. First of all, China became huge, like over time. Look, they were there before the Roman Empire. They were there, at the peak of Roman Empire. They were already huge. They were big economically. That's why. So when you spread your influence, for example, it's not just martial arts. I would say the main influence on the region would be the writing system. The writing system of Japan, Korea, Vietnam, they all Chinese hieroglyphics to express their own language, but they borrowed the writing system, right?
Japan.
So when you borrow the writing system, you kind of borrow the culture. And when you are successful militarily, and China was throughout its history highly successful militarily, they look at the size of it, right? And they were conquered a couple of times. But you know what? Over like 3,500 years of history, just 2 times? That's not such a big deal, No. So they were very, very successful militarily. So with the culture, with the economy, with the expansion, just geographical expansion, came the martial arts.
Interesting.
As part of the culture.
Yeah, interesting. So let's talk about China, or maybe outside of China. If you would see like a figure or 2 figures or three figures, like a lot of people talk about body drama. I don't know if he existed. Was he real?
Drama? Yes.
Yeah, I'm not talking about him. You'll give the names you want about people who you think are pivotal to the world of martial arts, to Chinese martial arts, to world martial arts, that somehow their work, and if there's no person, maybe a system that changed, something that changed that made martial arts the way we know them today. I know like in karate, there was a king in the Ryukyu kingdom, that Okinawa was part of that kingdom, that he said no weapons. And when people couldn't have swords or crossbows or whatever they had that time, they had to fight with their hands and agriculture tools. So that's like a pivotal point of karate. So of Okinawan's martial arts, before it was even called karate because it was different. So what do you think influenced martial arts in that, like in that way? In similar aspects.
Talking about Chinese history?
I think Chinese history is good, like it's big, it's huge.
Yeah. Okay, so influence of Bodhidharma is mythological, although the person is real.
Which?
Bodhidharma.
Body drama. Okay, it's mythological. Yeah.
Is a real person, apparently. I mean, there's records of him traveling to China and having a big influence on the development of Chinese Buddhism. Of a particular brand of Chinese Buddhism, or they call it in Japan, they call it Zen Buddhism.
Zen, yeah.
So he's the founder of that. The creation of Shaolin martial arts is attributed to him, but there's no historical proof of that whatsoever. He might have brought some like breathing gymnastics, like a yoga type stuff with him from India, where he came from. It's a possibility. It's not a fact either. So
if you have another person,
mythological.
Okay, so if you have another figure, or not even a figure, let's say people talk about Shaolin temples, maybe a system that changed the martial arts the way we look at them today. Something pivotal.
Yeah. If you're talking Chinese martial arts history, it's a very long history. So there wouldn't be any one particular person. It's founders of styles that would come up with new ideas and stuff like that. That would come out of naturally their own ideas of of their experience, stuff like that. So it's a lot of different people. There's no one particular person. There are persons of note, like the General Jigwan, who wrote like a treatise on with the very first known big treatises on like martial arts, right?
Okay.
So he's the first person to mention kung fu styles, right? And it's not that long ago. It's Ming Dynasty, which is I think, I might be mistaken, I think it's, in his case, it's like 1500s, right? So it's like 16th century.
Okay.
I might be mistaken on that. I don't remember exactly, right? But he's definitely, his book is an important milestone, because he mentions martial arts and actually describes certain schools. Before that, there's no mention of that whatsoever. Obviously, martial arts were there. There are certain separate mentions of martial arts being used here and there, and martial artists and stuff like that. But I would say development of Chinese martial arts is a very long and complex and nuanced process that cannot be attributed to anyone in particular. The popularity of martial arts, like I said, it's a geographical thing, because the Chinese would migrate, right? So they would migrate to Okinawa, they would migrate to Taiwan, to Philippines, right? Filipino martial arts also have that same Fujianese influence, the Southern Chinese influence. Yeah, even the terminology they use, it's not all Chinese, but there's huge chunk of the hand-to-hand that's definitely Chinese, right?
I think all Goju kata are directly influenced by Chinese katas. It's like
like Sanjian.
Sanchin,
in Chinese, it's Sanjian, 3 battles, right? So that is staple Southern Chinese kung fu without any change, really. It's just
they're doing it like they do it like three types of kung fu and 2 types of karate, and you can see like 5 types of katas, that there's a connection between all of them.
Yeah. So I would say it's just the mass migrations and stuff like that that were the pivotal point, for Chinese martial arts. And of course, we're talking about 20th century, we get, Bruce Lee migrating, to United States, and having a huge influence. So, I would say it's the greatest, one of the greatest influences, because
I think you're right.
Everybody saw Bruce
I think you're
Lee,
right.
Everybody was inspired. Everybody wanted to learn that. And then the guys that followed, because like Jet Li or Jackie Chan or guys like that, because the movies were the greatest influence.
They were very strong, the movies.
Like, I gotta say, like within the Chinese culture, kind of same thing happened, because like the greatest influence on people that wanted to learn kung fu were these novels that were famous wuxia novels about martial art, adventures of martial artists.
So art influenced martial arts and influenced people to follow martial arts.
Yeah, martial arts influenced the novelists that would write novels, and so that in turn made
it goes back and
people
forth.
interested in that.
Yeah, interesting.
And it became like a thing to do. Is like became a cool thing to do.
Yeah, I think like when I see Morio Higuana, I can understand why people love Goju Ryu. The guy is very, very special. If he holds somebody and you feel his hands, it's like I would say he's a complete monster. He was so strong. I trained with him. I didn't train with him. I was a student. He demonstrated on me a few seminars I was in. His power is unbelievable. So I think Bruce Lee, in a way, is a fast person. Everybody said he moves so fast they couldn't catch him. So I think people would like special attributes because of training and natural abilities do influence martial arts. We'll go. So
I gotta say, like when I met my Shifu, Ilya Profatilov, Chinese name Ma Yangguan, right? I already had like 30 years of experience in martial arts.
Wow.
I met him. And I went there because I was just curious. I heard about him. I wasn't expecting anything really. And I get slapped around and thrown around in ways that I did not know were possible. I didn't know what was going on. Also, the physical strengths, also the speed, the things like that. And when you experience that firsthand, I wasn't planning on learning another martial art at all.
Yeah.
That was not in my plans. And I was like, no, now I got to figure out how that happened.
Okay.
You know? So when you encounter something like that.
Same thing happened to my teacher. Same thing, yeah, so it reminds you. Listen, we're gonna go to some personal questions, okay? So it will be interesting for the viewers. If you sit alone at home, what is your favorite music to listen?
Yeah, I gotta say, because I teach music,
Yeah.
because I play music a lot, like I practice a lot and I play with other people and stuff like that, I prefer not to listen to music.
Whoa,
because it actually, I listen to so much music that I need to listen to.
So you want to sit
that
quiet?
it makes me kind of tired from music. Like I really need to rest. Sometimes though, like if I listen to something, it could be a lot of things. Like I was listening to a whole concert of country music the other day. Amazing stuff. Then the other day, like I would, another day I would listen to like a Baroque opera. Like I love Purcell, like or Lully, or composers like that from Baroque era. And another day it's something else. It's like I was learning some Deep Purple stuff, and I was listening to that. So it's different. It depends.
Yeah, interesting. If you had a chance to talk to young Joseph, what would you tell him?
Ooh. Okay. Well, I really got no advice for young Joseph, because young Joseph was much smarter than me in a lot of ways, I gotta say. So, but I would say this though, like probably, it would be stupid advice. It would be like this, like have more fun. Like you don't need to be so serious all the time. Take more pictures. I have this thing against taking pictures. So I have no pictures from the 80s and 90s, zero.
We had no cameras.
No, but I was like, no, I avoided, like, I consciously avoided being filmed or taken in any kind of picture, which is stupid. I don't know why I did that.
My daughter does it now.
That, and maybe like, I would say learn any kind of wrestling.
Wrestling?
Yeah, because I mainly did striking arts all the way until I did some BJJ, like sambo and judo, but it was like a little bit. But like before Shwai Jiao, I'd never done serious wrestling, and I think that's a huge
advantage.
Advantage in.
Yeah, I wanted to do judo, but my teacher said no. You're only doing karate. So I listened. I was a good student. Okay, okay. If you had the chance to go back to the past, what would you have done different? So you just said it right now. You do wrestling. Nothing?
Except maybe
wrestling.
Wrestling, but then I don't think it's possible. Not going back in the past. Maybe it's possible. If you go faster than the light of speed, you will go back in time. Apparently, right? Okay. So maybe it's possible to go back in time at some point. But I think changing anything, like I'm pretty happy with what I am. Okay. So I don't think I want to change much.
Okay. What is your favorite food?
Grechka.
Grechka? Oh, I don't know what it is. What it is?
It's a buckwheat. It's buckwheat.
Buckwheat?
It's a kasha made of buckwheat.
Okay.
So it's porridge basically. I eat it every day, and I could eat it 3 times a day. Okay. I like it.
Okay, that's good.
With butter.
With butter. Okay, what would you like people to know about you? Something you would like people to know about you. Except that you teach in Netanya, in Tel Aviv, and Haifa, Shwai Jiao. I think you would like them to know. But other than that.
You know what?
Yeah.
Not much. I mean, I gotta say, I think they know too much about me.
Okay.
No, I'd like them to know that I got classes in Netanya.
Classes in Netanya. Okay, that's good.
I got like students in Haifa, students in Tel Aviv. For some reason in Netanya, it's like Where's everybody?
Yeah,
you
the
know?
beach is great, the view is great, everything's great here.
Come out, learn some stuff. Not just Joe. I got good stuff in the
Praying mantis.
Praying mantis is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I got very few students for some reason doing praying mantis.
Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom in traditional martial arts, and I think people should connect. Okay.
How to kick ass.
So there is a last thing you want to say, last words before we finish the interview, something you would like to say, and I hope the camera got it all.
Yeah, no, not much, except that I really appreciate our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to come by when you get older.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of your friends are like from your childhood,
Yeah.
or something like that, or early years. So that's great. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a saying in Chinese that all martial people are one family. It's almost never true, unfortunately.
No, but I do like your martial art.
But I think it should.
I do like the way you move. I do like your art. I do like the way you teach.
Yeah.
And I have great respect.
you.
I have great respect for Joseph, and thank you for the
Likewise.
interview. And I really, really like your martial arts, and I really like what you do. And I think it should have a stage for the things you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Awesome.
That's it. We took it all, I hope.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the camera is off.